Hi there everybody, this is AMI Gill, aka Inspiration, coming to you from the AMI Z Show. This is episode 7, so episode 7, which is Health is Wealth. Health is indeed wealth and we neglect our health a lot. So I thought we'd focus on health this episode and see if we can understand the whole world health situation. And do click the subscribe button, please. It will really help the channel. If you've been here before and you're watching the next episode, thank you so much for your support. It's been awesome. We are doing really well. It's picking up, and just keep it coming. Keep clicking on our videos and show us the love. Show us all that love. Websites. The first one is the amizshow.com. Now this website is an awesome website to go and visit to get an understanding of the AMI Z Show and sort of comment using our forums and interact with the community. So yeah, definitely check out the AMI Z Show. Then we have a second website, which is inspirationstock.com, and that's where you can buy all your merchandise. Please sponsor our company and buy this lovely t-shirt with the Inspiration logo. It will really help us, and the more we can get coming in, the more we can distribute and get going. So please give us a hand. So the third website that we have is called InspirationMusicProductions.com. Now, Inspiration Music Productions is where I will bring you new music from myself and a lot of other artists and showcase them through that website. And you know, it's an awesome one to check out. So definitely check those out. And let me introduce our next employee. Okay, this employee is our company mascot. Yes, that's right. I have a company mascot. Woo! Basically, I've been in the lockdown, and I thought, what's the best thing that my dog can do for me? All he does is just be lazy, and you give him food and he'll do everything for you. So I thought, you know, maybe I'll bring him to the channel through the AMI Z Show as the company mascot. And basically, I'm just going to make lots of funny videos of Raja, and it's Raja in Punjabi, it's King. Raja is King. Okay, so check out our new company mascot. Raja, give us an introduction.
Hi there everybody, my name is Raja. That's right, Raja means king, and I am the king. I am now working on the AMI Z Show as the official mascot of the AMI Z Show. That's right, it's me. I gotta tell you, on my resume, I put down the 2 things that I do. The one thing, the first thing, and the major thing is I sleep all day long. Number 2, I eat, and I will do anything for food. And all I really do is sleep and eat. And that's all I do. And if you give me chicken, please Inspiration, give me some chicken. Okay, you shall see me soon.
Roger. Stay, Roger, stay. I'll give you this, but stay. Stay, Roger. Sit. Roger, sit. Stay. Stay.
Having seen that, let's move on to our first segment, which is Inspiration's Common Sense. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot going on with the world and the health and the Chinas and the Wuhans and everything like that. So we're going to sort of break it down in this episode. The first thing on Inspiration's Common Sense that I wanted to talk about is the UK government over here actually. Being over here, basically what they've done is they've removed China from its, the official coronavirus death count. So there's a few reasons that the government gave in order to remove them. I'm just thinking, you can remove them, but what about the other countries, huh? I mean, look at Australia, where their numbers are very low. India, come on, and other places that have been messing around with the numbers and the death tolls. You can't just like kick people out. If you're gonna kick one, kick the other ones. Common sense. Okay. So moving on. Okay. So this is a video about how China corrupted the World Health Organization's response to the coronies. So now this was put out there by Reason TV, and I thought it was very interesting. So I am bringing it to my show. China has been doing a lot of naughty things, and I'm not going to make my decision right now and say if I'm pro or negative China, the response and everything like that. Let's go through the video and we can, maybe discuss this offline or through the website and the forums. So here's the video. Enjoy and let me know what you think.
The World Health Organization put out questionable guidance on how to deal with the coronavirus. It was slow to communicate the magnitude of the threat, and it whitewashed the Chinese government's early handling of the crisis. It destroyed much of its credibility, damaged the field of public health, and failed to contain the pandemic.
Now is not the time. That's a bit too early to consider that this event is a public health emergency of international concern.
WHO's response in part stems from its overly deferential stance towards China, which is its second biggest contributor among 194 member states.
A phenomenal collective action and cooperation by the people of China to this response.
We would have seen many more cases outside China by now if it were not for the government's efforts to protect their own people and the people of the world. The Chinese government is to be congratulated for the extraordinary measures it has taken to contain the outbreak.
WHO whitewashed the authoritarian government's overall record. It praised China for releasing the virus's genome while neglecting to mention that it took them at least 17 days to do so. It didn't report human-to-human transmission until late January, even though Chinese doctors suspected it at least a month earlier. Although the extreme lockdown of Wuhan likely did save thousands of lives, WHO scientists weren't allowed into Wuhan until 3 weeks after the outbreak first came to light. Meanwhile, the WHO praised the Chinese for their openness.
China took action massively at the epicenter, and that helped in preventing cases from being exported. If we say there's a pandemic of coronavirus, we're essentially accepting that every human on the planet will be exposed to that virus. And China have clearly shown that that's not necessarily the natural outcome of this event.
As the virus continued spreading across Europe and reached America, WHO recommended that the travel industry maintain the status quo.
There is no reason for measures that unnecessarily interfere with international travel and trade.
One country that ignored this advice was Taiwan, which also warned the WHO that it suspected the virus was spreading through human-to-human transmission and was ignored. Taiwan, which has one of the lowest rates of known COVID infections per capita among countries impacted by the virus, was prevented from joining the WHO as a member country in 2015 by China, which refuses to acknowledge its independence. In late March, World Health Organization epidemiologist Bruce Aylward declined to answer a Hong Kong reporter's question about Taiwan, or even acknowledge its existence.
Would the WHO consider Taiwan's membership? Hello?
I can't hear. I couldn't hear your question.
Okay, yeah. Let me repeat the question.
No, that's okay. Let's move to another one then.
Right, because I'm actually curious on talking about Taiwan as well, on Taiwan's case.
We decided to give Dr. Aylward another call to follow up.
And I just want to see if you can comment a bit on how Taiwan has done so far in terms of containing the virus.
Well, we've already talked about China, and when you look across all the different areas of China, they've actually all done quite a good job. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for inviting us to participate.
As Taiwan was distributing face masks to its citizens, the WHO was advising the rest of the world that they were unnecessary. and initially the CDC and US Surgeon General followed its lead.
Masks should only be used by healthcare workers, caretakers, or by people who are sick with symptoms of fever and cough.
If you do not have these symptoms, you do not have to wear masks, because there is no evidence that they protect people who are not sick.
But health experts pointed to mounting evidence that masks can help slow the spread of respiratory diseases, especially among asymptomatic carriers, a population that the WHO maintains is virtually non-existent, despite mounting evidence to the contrary. In mid-February, the WHO trumpeted good news from China.
The data from China continue to show a decline in new confirmed cases. Once again, we're encouraged by this trend.
Ignoring evidence that it may have been a statistical anomaly, and U.S. intelligence believes that China has entirely misrepresented both case numbers and death tolls according to Bloomberg News. Finally, on March 11th, after Italy was already in full national lockdown with more than 10,000 cases, WHO finally acknowledged the true magnitude of the crisis, declaring a global pandemic.
COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
They could have called it months earlier. They should have known, and they probably did know. So we'll be looking into that very carefully, and we're going to put a hold on money spent to the WHO.
Donald Trump and other world leaders aren't absolved for their failures by the WHO's bungling of this crisis. But it's important to remember that if the World Health Organization had done its job, the nightmare we're living through might not have happened at all.
Okay, so that was our video that showed you how the response to the coronies was dealt with and how China messed that up. And, you know, in order to remove them from the World Health Organization might be a bit extreme. I think they should be getting severe penalties, and also the processes with the World Health Organization need to be refined, and once these processes are refined, and hopefully the for this sort of situation to occur again with another country will be minimalized. So yeah, so basically common sense, don't remove countries from World Health bodies. Okay, alright, let's move on to something a bit more light-hearted. Yes, all this craziness is going on with the WHO and everything, but I thought I'll bring you a awesome artist from China. Not China. It's actually Chinatown in central London. I think most of the world knows it, and basically I was there and I saw a guy do a really amazing performance, and he had the crowds like laughing. It was amazing, and he's a really good artist, really humble person, really nice energy. So I thought I'm going to bring him to episode 7. His name is Marcello Vixi, and you can check him out on Instagram and stuff like that, but he is definitely an entertainer. Here we go. Enjoy. Alright, this is Inspiration coming here from central London, right here with this dude over here. We've seen him before. Check it out.
Ok, Napolita, tu vuoi fare l'America, tu vuoi fare l'America, tu vuoi fare... No, you're not clapping. Tu vuoi fare l'America, 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 tu vuoi fare l'America. Whisky and soda, rock and roll, whisky and soda, rock and roll, whisky and soda, rock and roll. Alright guys, I've one last song for you, then I'm gonna go back in Italy. The song is really nice, very popular, very international, and it goes like this. What's the name of this song?
Stand by me.
Stand by me. Very, very good. Okay, guys, my name is Marcello, straight from Italy. I'm not just gonna play the song, it would be a bit boring, so I have a surprise for you. Okay. Beautiful. All together. Perfect! Shut up! What?
Yeah, Marcello.
Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world? Or do you need more? Is there something else you're searching for? I'm falling. In all the good times I found myself longing for change. And in the bad times I feel myself I'm falling. In all the good times I found myself longing for change. And in the bad times I feel myself I'm on the deep end, oh chasing devil. This is what I do for money. But people don't give me money, apart from my Italian friends, very good song. In the sunshine, in the sunshine, in the sunshine, far from the shallow now. And by the way, if you lost a little case, is like a gray, I don't know, is in here, is a little bag.
It's mine. Oh shit, that's mine. Hey, Marcello, how you doing?
You saw it before.
And Marcello Bravissimo. I don't know if I did that right, but yeah, it was very good. And so yeah, we'll see hopefully a bit more of Marcello as well on future episodes. And moving on, so we're going to move on to our next segment of the show. And our next segment of the show is Inspirations Chat with Z. Okay, I have my sidekick again. I have him. And this is what we got up to. Hey, oh shit, dude, guess what? You know what? I was talking to you and on the
Fucking
video...
hell, I thought your shelf just fell on you. Huh?
It almost did. You see the
What's
lion?
up?
You see the lion? And
I can see a female lion. Oh yeah, is that a male lion on the top?
that's right. But going
Female
back...
lion should be on the top, really.
Alright.
Yep, side.
There you go. You inputted today. Female
Yeah.
lion can be on the top. There you go. Alright, yeah. Put right out there. There you go. Yeah, good.
I don't know much about lions, but apparently the females are the bosses.
I can actually make music here. I can make music. You want to hear my music? Do you want to hear it? Yeah? Check this out. Lay down a beat. Ready for this, Ed? Ready for this? To turn the speaker on. The speaker is on.
This reminds me of a meme.
Okay. Can you hear me?
No,
Can you hear me?
no. I think I heard like one hi-hat.
Like it, Ed.
Yeah, sounds like it's crescendoing.
All right, here we go, Edward, ready? Set, hit. Yo, Rando, give me flow. I'm a cheap, in the flow. I used to think the song all day long. They come up to me now for the long. But I kept on the MIC. I'm about to show you what it's really like. I'm gonna do it like this, do it like that, do it
Why does it sound so funny?
I know I just recorded some crap.
It's echoey.
Yeah, well, the sound's not going to be the best. You're hearing it over a mic and speaker.
Getting zoom compressed. Sounds a bit Jamaican. Yeah, it reminds me of I don't know who, man. Like, reminds me of some Jamaican singer.
Jamaican
I can't remember what his name is now. You go shiddly waddly dilly willy oh. Can't think of his name now.
Okay. Listen, thank you for the advice for the set over here. Okay, so this is Inspirations World News. Now, because there's so much going on with China, I thought, why not, discuss some of those things about China? And because there's so much going on with the WHO, the World Health Organization, I thought, why not bring that in and just discuss about the WHO as well? The AMI Z show actually likes the WHO, and they give us some content, and we can educate people. So for that, thank you very much, World Health Organization. I'm going to be very straight with you guys. I'm not pro and I'm not going to go and be negative to anybody, and I'm going to let you guys make up your mind. So I'm going to give you pro videos, and I'm going to give you con videos, and that way you can decide if you think it's pro or it is con. But please do come in to our comment section and to our forum and let us know. Okay, so the first thing that I want to discuss on Inspirations World News is Trump. So this article by the BBC mentions that Trump stands by China lab origin theory for virus. This is where Trump is claiming that China was to blame, and basically the virus, the coronies, came from the laboratory over there in Wuhan. President Trump has basically undercut his own intelligence agencies, and he suggested he has seen some evidence. Apparently, I'm interested to see what this evidence is. Hopefully it should be out soon. And he also said that he thinks the World Health Organization should be ashamed of themselves because they're like the public relations agency for China. Okay, so this is an interesting clip that I was reading on the BBC as well, on China rejecting calls for a probe into the origins of the disease. China has rejected the WHO's request to basically go into China, go and check out Wuhan and go and see exactly what's going on over there. I think China needs to let the rest of the world into the country and
and refine their way of doing things and managing information and people.
The more you hide, the worse it'll get, okay? So, you know, we don't want to go into war. Nobody wants to go into war. And, you know, let's prevent that from happening, okay? So open up, I would say. This is a little bit of advice from Inspiration. And
let's see how that pans out. Another story that I wanted to quickly show you, a story by Daily Mail. Now, this is basically where Daily Mail say that the Five Eyes Western intelligence dossier claims China lied about human-to-human transmission, disappeared whistleblowers, and refused to help other countries prepare a vaccine for the coronavirus. So this 15-page dossier, I'm intrigued to see what's in it. And the Five Eyes, so just for those people that don't know what the Five Eyes is, the Five Eyes is... So the Five Eyes is an intelligence alliance comprising of 5 countries.
Those of you that don't know Five Eyes, which looks similar to the Inspiration logo, are 5 countries.
Australia, Canada, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and the United States. And just having a brief look at them, they originated in 41, 43, and wow! They have a GDP of 27 trillion.
There's this big bombshell where this intelligence agency...
They have a dossier of evidence the virus was leaked from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Regarding the global death toll numbers, so they could actually be 60% higher than reported, right? The mortality statistics show 122,000 deaths in excess of normal levels. So this is like, you know, very, very, very interesting.
One story that I want to let Angel explain to you guys is to do with Wuhan and why coronavirus did not leak from Wuhan. Basically a statement by a US lab researcher, and it was published in the Business Insider, and it, you know, has 4 reasons that explain why Wuhan you know, could not have released the virus.
A US researcher who worked with the Wuhan Virology Lab gives 4 reasons why the coronavirus leak would be extremely unlikely. A fringe theory suggests that the new coronavirus leaked by accident from a lab in Wuhan. Researchers at the Wuhan Institute of Virology study infectious diseases, including coronaviruses, and did before the pandemic started. So, as questions about how the pandemic started to continue go unanswered, the lab has drawn scrutiny. Matthew Pottinger, Trump's deputy national security advisor, asked intelligence agencies in January to look into the idea of a Wuhan lab leak. The New York Times reported CIA officers didn't find any evidence. There's a reason for that, according to Joanna Mazet, an epidemiologist at the University of California, Davis, who has worked with the trained WIV researchers in the past. I know that we worked together to develop very stringent safety protocols, and it's highly unlikely this was a lab accident, she told Business Insider. Here are 4 reasons why. So reason 1, the lab samples don't match the new coronavirus. The WIV houses China's only biosafety level 4 laboratory. Scientists study the most dangerous and infectious microbes known to humankind in these types of facilities. Some of the institute's researchers, including virologist Shi, have collected, sampled, and studied coronaviruses that circulate Chinese bats. In 2013, Shi and her collaborators pinpointed the bat population most likely was responsible for spreading SARS in the Shihoto cave near Kunming. After the team sequenced the COVID-19 virus, Shi told Scientific American that she quickly checked the lab's record from the past few years to check for accidents, especially during disposal. Then she cross-referenced the new coronavirus genome with genetic information of other bat coronaviruses her team had collected. They did not match. That really took a load off my mind, she told Scientific American, adding, I had not slept a wink in for days. Mazet has met and worked with Shi through PREDICT, a pandemic early warning program started by the US Agency for International Development. The program has trained staff and funded labs in 30 countries, including the WIV, but President Donald Trump shut down PREDICT last fall. I've spoken to her recently. Mazet said of Shi, she is absolutely positive and she has never identified this virus prior to the outbreak happening. Mazet added that she set up a secure shared database into which PREDICT members upload their work for public release. Reason 2, the lab implements rigorous safety protocols. In 2018, US officials raised concerns about safety issues at the WIV. According to the diplomatic cables obtained by the Washington Post, Mazet said Shi's work in the lab and in the field was above reproach. In the field, they wear extreme PPE equipment, including multiple layers of gloves, eye protection, full body suits, and masks, she said. She noted, however, that she has not personally visited the WIV and couldn't speak to all the research done there. Samples collected from bats, Mazet added, get immediately split between some vials that contain chemicals that deactivate the virus and other containers that leave the virus alive. All samples are then dunked into liquid nitrogen on the spot, which freezes them. Then the vials are disinfected and transported to the lab. Their scientists wearing PPE equipment unload them into a freezer set to -3°C. When the samples are studied later, researchers only use the deactivated, non-infectious ones, Mazet said, adding that the vials with the viable virus are locked down in a special area. Reason 3, the coronavirus is the latest in a long line of zoonotic disease outbreaks. Rather than a leak, the coronavirus is more likely the latest disease to have jumped from an animal host to humans, experts say. This type of cross-species hop, called a spillover event, also led to outbreaks of Ebola and SARS. Both of those viruses originated in bats, and genetic research has all but confirmed the same for the new coronavirus. A study published in February found that it shares 96% of its genetic code with coronaviruses circulating in Chinese bat populations. 3 out of every 4 emerging infectious diseases come to us from other species. These pathogens are known as zoonotic diseases. The coronavirus is the 7th zoonotic virus to have spilled over into people in the last century. The 2009 to 2010 H1N1 pandemic, swine flu, started in pigs, then killed nearly 300,000 people. People have caught bird flus via direct contact with infected poultry. Other pandemic influenza strains, including the 1957 Asian flu and the 1968 Hong Kong pandemic, likely started in birds too. And in the last 45 years, at least 4 epidemics have been traced back to bats. Reason 4. Every day people are more likely to get infected than researchers who wear protection. The caves and wild habitats in which samples get collected from bats are dangerous places for people, since humans can be exposed to the live viruses circulating in the animals. These researchers navigate those caves in full PPE, but tourists, hunters, poachers, and other people who rely on animals in some capacity for food or trade wander into such places less protected. Peter, the ZAC president of Eco Health Alliance, which is managed by Predict's relationship with the WIF, told NPR last week that his colleagues are finding 1 to 7 million people exposed to zoonotic viruses in Southeast Asia each year. That's the pathway. It's just so obvious to all of us working in this field, he said. A study published in March 2019 even predicted that bats would be the source of a new coronavirus outbreak in China. That's because the majority of coronaviruses, those that affect humans and animals, can be found in China, and many bats live near humans in China, potentially transmitting viruses to humans and livestock, the author said. Spillovers will keep happening. The frequency of spillover events will increase as humans encroach further into wild habitats that house disease-carrying species we haven't interacted with before. Mazet said, researching how past spillovers happened and which habitats present the greatest risk for such events helps scientists make predictions about the next pandemic. Since 2014, Shi's group at the WIF has received nearly $600,000 from a multi-million-dollar 5-year grant funded by the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases to research the spillover of bat coronaviruses. The grant, which is managed by However, after being questioned about that funding at a White House briefing on April 17, President Trump said his administration would end that grant very quickly. A week later, the National Institutes of Health cancelled it. Eroding confidence between the US and Chinese researchers. That malicious Yon, the director of the WIS Biosafety Lab, told Reuters that malicious claims about the lab had been pulled out of thin air and contradicted all available evidence. The persistent circulation of lab leak theory could impact future scientific cooperation and information sharing between the US and China, according to Mazet. What's happening sociologically right now is our biggest risk. Who's going to want to work on this if they are the ones put under a microscope? Mazet said, I think the real danger of what's going on now is that experts like she and myself may not be able to keep collaborating to identify these viruses because of government pressures. Mazet said, that would make it harder to discover where the COVID-19 virus came from, as well as to forecast and prepare for the next spillover. Mazet added that she worries a blame game could even put lives at risk in the short term. If we point fingers at other nations that have the best opportunity to develop a vaccine, why would we expect them to freely share that with us? Mazet said, collaboration is key right now. Otherwise, you have countries developing things in parallel, and you can't assume that the US is the best at everything. Okay, thank you, Angel. It's great.
Okay, so finally we're going to now look at the COVID numbers. But before we look at the COVID numbers, it seems like there might be some discrepancies with the numbers. Now, there was a company called Financial Times that everyone's familiar with. They found that it could be possible that based on last year's numbers, that that worldwide numbers, it's possible that we're 60% off. So the numbers could actually be more, 60% more. So bearing that in mind, let's still look at the numbers on COVID Visualizer. So for today, let's have a look.
Let's check it out. India's numbers have gone up. Good. So India are actually finally bringing out some decent numbers. Yeah. Moving to another country with low numbers, Australia. Oh, come on, Australia, 95 only. How big are you? I mean, come on, Melbourne, Sydney. What about New Zealand over here? 20 only in New Zealand. So there's something funny about those numbers. With over here, so the UK, we have 28,446 people that have died. Down over here in Ireland, 1,303 have died and 6,000 active. What about this? Spain, 25,000. It's around the 20 to 30,000 mark for most of these countries over here. Germany, it's increasing, 6,866. They opened their lockdown and 5 days solid. It just kept going crazy over there. And again, China, 4,633. Okay, so America, 68,606 that are deceased. Down here in Mexico, we have 2,154 people deceased. And over here in Canada, we have 3,682 deceased. So at the moment, we have 2,174,836 active cases And currently, as it stands, 248,780 people have died. And there's been 1,162,095 recoveries. So let's hope, fingers crossed, that these numbers just stay low. The world has been doing really well with the lockdown. So hopefully the lockdown continues until we have full control on the coronis. And we'll look at the numbers on our next episode.
Okay, so moving on now, we have Inspiration's conspiracy theory. It's a bit strange how this whole Wuhan thing's happening, and this conspiracy theory is ongoing with this. Check it out. Check this. This is part 3. Okay, so check this out. This is going to be read to us by Devil Emoji. Yeah, so Devil Emoji over there is going to read part 3 of the Wuhan intelligence officer's story. Enjoy.
Essentially, our undesirables were becoming mildly mentally disabled, which is precisely the effect we wanted to produce in order to pacify the restive population of Hong Kong. Unfortunately, it became apparent that the agent also had other effects. About 1 week after the retardation set in, our subjects developed major anxiety and panic attacks. Eventually, they developed symptoms akin to those of paranoid schizophrenics. At this point, their bodies rapidly deteriorated. They developed massive internal bleeding. The walls of their arteries dissolved. They bled out eyes and orifices, and their tissues disintegrated. To put it in a more direct Western manner, they started to melt. Death usually occurred through multiple organ failure. This was preceded by at least 5 days of severe agony, which could not be alleviated by painkillers. It was at this time that I first violated our protocol. One subject, an elderly lady who had published defamatory cartoons of our president, begged me for death with such insistence that I took pity and shot her. I was reprimanded, but fortunately the complaint was dropped when I agreed to reimburse the cost of the bullet. I swore to myself never again to show such unnecessary emotion. We decided our agent was unusable. It was far too destructive for our purposes. We wanted the population of Hong Kong to submit to us. We did not want to exterminate them. Naturally, our American friends had by then taken an interest in our work and asked us for a sample for their own research and testing purposes. They hinted that they wished to use it to resolve certain difficulties in Venezuela. Normally we would have agreed, as we maintained friendly relations with the CIA, but given the extremely toxic nature of the agent, we declined. This, as it turned out, was a grave mistake. The CIA was convinced that we had developed something very powerful and wanted to keep it to ourselves. They offered a great deal of money to one of our researchers. Foolishly, he agreed to sell them a specimen. We found out just in time for the handover and tried to stop it from happening. In the ensuing shootout, don't bother to look for it in the news. It was never reported anywhere. Several dozen people were killed. More importantly, however, the agent escaped. The shootout took place at the wild animal market, which has been reported as the location of the animal to human transmission that started the outbreak. But of course, there was no such transmission. It was just the location where the CIA was supposed to receive this sealed vial containing the agent. The vial shattered when it dropped by the traitor who had agreed to sell it to the Americans. By now I understand you be skeptical. If I really am who I say I am, why would I be sharing this information on the internet? Let me assure you that I am no friend of the Western system of governance. I love my motherland and I am loyal to the Communist Party. It has lifted hundreds of millions of my compatriots out of squalor and poverty. However, I am also a human being and I have a conscience. Most importantly, I have a wife and a son. Once we realized that the agent had escaped and would start to spread, we swiftly put all of Wuhan into lockdown. I was one of those tasked to manage the fallout of the contamination. Of course, we could not keep such a huge undertaking secret, so we decided to order our state media to report that the coronavirus had broken out in Wuhan. In reality, of course, there is no coronavirus. It was all made up. To be continued.
That was part 3, and it's going to be continued on our next episode. I hope you enjoyed that. Now moving on to our next segment of the show, which is Inspiration's Health Review. Okay, so this is Inspiration's Health Review. On this segment today, I want to actually talk about the mental health issues associated with the coronavirus. A lot of people have been experiencing domestic abuse and have been suffering depression you know, and they're super stressed. So basically, this is a little video regarding mental health from the World Health Organization. Another good thing they did, releasing these videos. So check it out, and don't get too stressed, okay? Things will get better, so don't panic. Okay, everybody, welcome to Inspiration's Technology Briefing. And on this segment today, we are going to talk about the Corona future and how we're going to be living in this future.
This pandemic is finally defeated. The question we'll be asking ourselves isn't, why would you want to do that online? But why would you want to do that in real life?
Why would you want to do that in real life?
The coronavirus has done what 30 years of internet manifestos never accomplished: a mass migration into our screens.
Okay, so this makes you think, what will it be like after the coronavirus? Because, you know, it's going to be difficult to move around because people are going to have it and people are not going to have it, and there's going to be a lot of tracking apps that are going to be used. And talking about tracking apps, there's one actually out now by the NHS in the UK, and other countries have other apps that are about to be launched. There's issues with privacy with these apps, but everyone has been told that the personal information won't get released, so they only use certain types of information. So now, yeah, so this NHS tracking app
is going to be handed out to individuals in the UK, and when they register and download the app, then they will be able to find out who has the coronies within 6 feet of them for at least 15 minutes. This app was devised by the digital arm of the health services, which is NHSX, and this app uses Bluetooth technology in order to do this. Now, there's an issue with privacy, and there's some concerns that the data could be leaked and it might be easy to identify individuals. We'll look more into this app and see what sort of information they're actually retaining.
Okay, so that was Inspiration's Technology Briefing. So now we're going to move on to something, you know, funny, chilled, relaxed, and that actually is Inspiration's memes and funny videos. So the first one I want to bring you guys is hilarious, because this is what some parents do to their kids, yeah. And then there's some responses. I mean, some people make up their own like PPE, you know, personal protective equipment, and I don't understand it. But anyway, here's a video with with some coronavirus fun, I guess.
To concerned parents, what do they tell you?
And don't nobody want their child to be sick. And don't nobody want to take that virus to their house.
Parents with children at Treadwell Middle and elementary schools are not playing around. Many wiped their kids down, and some even sprayed them with disinfectant spray as they took them home Monday.
And I wiped my shoes and backpack down when I got them out of school. Sure, they gave them gloves.
Some took more extreme measures.
2 garbage bags. My shoes became loose. My shoes became loose. 2 sacks. No sack.
Leaders with the Shelby County Health Department say this is not necessary because it's a very low-risk situation for students.
It's messed up. The flu killed the motherfuckers in that year, so that's it. We're gonna die anyway.
Okay, someone's gonna tell this guy. He got it so wrong. Oh my god. You know, maybe I'm gonna do an awareness video so people can be aware, you know, what not to do and what to do. So that'll probably be out soon. I want to bring you, you know, Roger the mascot. So I made a few short videos of him and I hope they go viral. So please check them out and enjoy it. Because he does nothing, I thought I'll use some FX, like, you know, apps, and make him look a little bit, you know, do some things to him. So yeah, check it out. This is Roger the mascot. Enjoy. Roger, are you moving today? No? You are not moving? Well, bye-bye, Roger. Bye-bye. Roger. 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 What's going to happen to you, Roger? What's going to happen to you now, Roger? Huh? What's going to happen to you, Roger? Bye-bye. Roger. Are you still... There's a disclaimer, no animals were harmed in the making of this video clip. So don't worry, don't want anybody coming to me that, you know, there's animal cruelty going on. Nothing like that, it's all love.
We happy? Vincent, we happy? Yeah, we happy.
Okay, now moving on to our premiere. So this premiere, it was basically for a song that I did. I want to bring this song because I did this song on the 7th of January. Unfortunately, my grandfather, we call him Beret Daddy. He passed away on the 2nd of January. I found out, and then 5 days later I made this song, and I recorded it in Guitar Center in California, San Mateo. So I thought I'd bring this to the screen. This is a little song I did, means a lot to me, and I want to release it as a premiere on the AMI show. I hope you guys like it. Hi there, this is AMI Gill, a.k.a. Inspiration, coming to you from San Mateo Guitar Center over here. Gonna do a little kind of jam. Really haven't prepared anything, but I thought I'd go with the freestyle mode. Feel a little bit sad because my grandfather just recently passed away on the 2nd of January 2020. So let's try and freestyle something in that vibe. Just gonna pick a guitar and just keep rolling it. Ooh, look at that. That's the thing there. That works. Oh, didn't get something over there. Ooh. Like this. Maybe a little tricky. Have to play it with the label in there. to say, but he kept it inside. He was a wise man and I love him. He was so wise that he kept it inside. Never let it go, never let it show. Never let it go, never let it show. Never let it go. He taught me that this was the way I had to do it every day. I tried to be like him. I tried so hard, but I didn't even get as far as the start. As far as the start. He was miles away. He didn't give a crap about today. He was miles away. He didn't give shit about today. He was miles away. Yes, he was. That's right. He was. Hey, I do what I do. Party Jerry. Ooh, looks like that was one. Look at that. Not bad price. Might have to come back with you, babe. Hello. All right. Okay, so again, we have come to that time of the show. It's time to go. Time to go. I'm afraid it is time for me to go, but I will be back in our next episode, episode 8. So definitely keep an eye on us, and everybody look after yourselves, keep safe, and be sensible. Wash your hands regularly, keep that distance, and don't open up. Even if people say go, to business, to work, and this, if you personally think it's going to affect your loved ones, elderly ones, or people that who have these underlying health conditions, then make that judgment and make a good judgment. Those are Inspiration's words. So until the next time, keep safe, one love, and I'll be back. Roger, there's a spider, Mamoo. It's going in your butt, Mamoo, the spider. Look at you. Look at your butt. It's in your butt. Oh, before you guys do go, please do click on the subscribe button, this big button over here. Please do this, click on that button, and then click on the bell and get the notifications. And also one last thing, please click on the like as well below. It will really help my channel.